So, since I am an important part of this project and I'm inviting people to it, I guess I'll tell you some thoughts. There's a bunch of them I would probably need to discuss, but how I work with people. Now, I'm thinking of a particular person because I want to clean things up, right? Get things cleaned up. And I don't know if there's people out there who actually enjoy cleaning. Maybe there are. Maybe they see that they're serving a really important purpose and that makes them very valuable and they like that. I don't like to clean anything. My place is disgusting. It's a bachelor mess. And so I'm going to pick a person as an example. Well, first off, I'm hesitant to have people come who say, I want to help clean because I'm going to compare them with the person I'm going to tell you about. Most people I don't think want to clean. They just say, oh, I'll clean because they know that's something that they can do. But, they get tired of it. They don't really want to do it. There's also organizing, which is a different task, and hopefully we'll get to that if I remember. Anyway, I know this woman. Yeah, it's sexist to think women can clean, but they're really good at it, and I'm not. So there's probably guys who can clean too. So don't blame me for the fact she's a woman. She's hardcore as shit. I pay her almost twice what I can pay a guy to work digging for the same period of time. And I pay her more for loyalty, for privacy, because she's being invited to my most private space, my home. Like inviting someone into the forest is one thing, but inviting them to your actual home, nobody goes in my home. I don't believe there's been another person in my actual house for 5 years. That's pretty shy. Oh, except her. But I haven't had her there for a couple years because I'm pretty low on funds. And so even though she's fairly cheap overall, even though I pay her almost twice as much as a person with a shovel and a pick digging at the dirt or whatever, the thing I wanted to talk about was her level of pushiness. Now, I tell her what I want, and sometimes I've told her, like, just do the most simple cleaning, just get rid of the worst of it. And so I do have to improve my communication with her. We're doing fine, and that's why I've hired her, but it's also one of the reasons I haven't hired her for a while. Because she'll start, like, cleaning shelves that don't need to be cleaned just because they're dusty, and like wiping stuff off that it's like, I don't care about that. I care about survival level cleaningness. Now, for her, maybe she thinks, hey, I'm going to do a really good job, and she's proud of her job. Well, great, but if you're doing too good of a job, that's not good. So she's not bossy in telling me what to do, but she's also not quite doing what I want done. She's doing too good a job, and I'm paying for that. I would rather have her clean more space badly or minimally than really make one space be perfectly clean that I know is going to get really dirty again quickly. I mean, there's rats and bats living in my house, and I don't care about it. I'm not trying to run a restaurant. I'm not trying to impress anyone. So we have a little bit of communication problem there, and I have talked to her a little bit about that, but maybe not as strongly as I should. Maybe I need to become a harder core boss, which is not something I enjoy doing, but it's kind of up to me to do it if she's not doing the job I want done. If at the end of the day, I got half of what I wanted done really well, but I didn't want it done that way, instead of more work done, and I don't know how she sees it. But actually, that's one of the reasons I stopped hiring her, is because I kind of felt like I wasn't getting quite what I wanted. And it's very close. And I would hire her again. In fact, when I hire her, I actually have to clean up before she comes. And my place is such a fucked up mess. Seriously, by my standards. Like, both the sinks are clogged up and just have rotting water in them that smells bad. And I don't even want her to see that. So I would have to unclog those and clean up before she even got there. I'll pick up a bunch of garbage and put in garbage bags of just like, I cut open a thing of salsa box of salsa stuff and sauce or whatever, and then I just throw it over there. And I've got beer cans laying around, and I mean, it's bachelor mess. The only people I can think of who would really enjoy that, or I guess there's some channels where one guy recommended one to me, but the guy lives far away and is not interested in more jobs. Um, but there's some people who actually might enjoy attacking just a colossal, not quite hoarder level fucked upness, but close. Certainly there's just disorganized junk everywhere, but at least that's not dirty and disgusting. Now that's the case where organization comes in, and there's people who might not enjoy cleaning, but they might love to organize a space and have it function better. And like, let's figure out what objects should live where. You know, I've got books to be organized. I've got, rooms I can barely use. And also they're dark sometimes because I don't have light. And so we have to move temporary lighting in there until I get my solar power fixed. So I live in this massive puzzle of chaos and problems. But my actual point here is about personalities and how we have to get really good at communicating how a job should be done. Because even if I write up a job description for a role, some people are going to say, okay, yeah, I'll do that. But then they start to do something else that doesn't quite fit in. And that's going to be normal. And maybe they have good ideas I haven't thought of. Maybe they have a better way of doing it. I'm not an expert at everything, and I don't know everything. I want to hire people and work with people who do things better ways than I can think of. That's the only way I'm going to actually succeed, is by having some level of trust. But better than trust is good communication. So let's adjust my expectations. If yours are better and you have a better way, you tell me how, you justify it, I will agree with you. I'm very open to that. In fact, I know that's the only way I'm going to succeed. And I want people to have autonomy over different parts of projects. But I want to create a framework and a definition of what that is. I don't just want to say, oh yeah, you take control of that area and do whatever the fuck you want. Well, I don't want you to do it in a way that damages the land, that damages other people, that damages my reputation. I have a lot of fear around giving people control over things. But you can help with that fear if you want control over things. You can work with me and communicate, and we can figure out how to get everybody what they want, because I want that person benefiting as well, and also how they can have that kind of control where they have the fulfillment of expanding that thing themselves with their own creativity and knowledge. That's how we work together. I don't have a ton of controlling ego involved with it. I know that everything has to get away from me. I have to give power away to other people. But you got to step up and be worth it. Real smart, real aware, and taking care of all the other systems around you. Not just me, but because each system affects another system. So are you serving the other systems well? I hope that makes sense to you. And I know our personalities get involved, and I want to figure my stuff out with this lady because I'd still like to use her. And, give her way more money than she can get paid anywhere else. And, trust her enough to be in my home. But we got a couple things to figure out. So we'll see.